Sam Leavitt is leaving Arizona State for Tennessee, but Sawyer Robertson is leaving Baylor for Tennessee, and I thought that we were going to lose Avery Johnson to Tennessee. This is a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Sun Devils crossover.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12 and Locked On Sun Devils. Thanks for making these shows your first listen every single day. That is Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils, talking all things Arizona State every single day. We will start with the Big 12 losing every single quarterback it has to Tennessee. A shame. Jake Retzlaff, the Volunteer. And then Arizona State, speaking of Retzlaff, or BYU. Who would you want to be in 2025, and why is it Arizona State? That's what Richie says. And we'll finish with which school has the best NIL out of the entire Big 12? Texas Tech, Arizona State, BYU, TCU, Baylor. Who is it, and who would you choose to be moving forward? If you hit subscribe, we can keep our jobs. Richie, immediately, Tennessee fans were all over it. One source said, done deal. Sam Leavitt is a Tennessee Volunteer. I think that's stupid. What say you?
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's good. We can go to the next segment. No.
All right. Sweet. Good to see you, Richie. Bye.
Exactly. It was great talk. Shortest episode ever. I understand the fascination that fans will get when it comes to the transfer portal and everything. Like ASU fans, Deuce Robinson enters the portal. He's a local kid and former 5-star. We can get him. The Branch brothers, Zachariah, enters the portal as, we can totally get him. And all these players that enter, and it's like, how many will actually end up coming to your program? Like, it's fun to do. It's NFL fans with the NFL draft. Oh my God, can you imagine we get X player and then they're not even close to being there for you? So I understand for Tennessee fans, and I do feel for you that, you're losing your quarterback, even though we all know he's not that great. But Tennessee's trying to get somewhere right now after going to the playoff. You lose your quarterback, that sets you back big time. You're looking at potential available guys, and you're like, can you imagine Sam Leavitt? First of all, he's not even in the portal. And I got news for you, he's not entering the portal, for second of all. But, I mean, I just don't get it, personally. I just don't get it.
Well, so question here. The portal conversation, I'm going to cover my own bases because I've said it on Locked On Big 12. It's moot. In essence, because schools aren't playing by the rules. And Nico leaving Tennessee or them kicking him out or whatever happened behind closed doors happened before the portal window opened. The way everyone's getting around this is by unenrolling and re-enrolling, or for schools, cutting a player. And then once he's cut from there, he is kind of in the portal, I guess. He's a player who is cut from a team. So the word portal is almost going away in essence. Does it worry you at all that Leavitt's speed trainer from high school got a call from a Knoxville booster offering him $5 million? And it's not, the reason it's not tampering is that booster from Tennessee or the speed trainer, they aren't under the NCAA's bylaws. They aren't under their control, right? So they can relay anything they want to Leavitt or to Sawyer Robertson or to Jalen Daniels or Jaden Daniels or whoever they want to. Does it worry you that might be at play here?
No. And don't get me wrong, that stuff does play a factor. That literally just happened with Nico Iamaleava. Is he's getting these conversations from what we presume is one of the LA schools. I don't know if that was like flat out confirmed or not. I just know that that's the big hot spot for him.
He also can't really, it'd be crazy if he committed to them before the portal actually opens.
Right.
Right. They've already somehow under the table worked this out, but everyone knows it's happening.
The contract and everything. Yeah. Like these things happen, and it's not a surprise to me that someone may be reaching out to Sam Leavitt, and it might not just be Tennessee. There's programs all throughout the country. One of the things I talked about on Monday's edition of Locked On Sun Devils is if Sam Leavitt did enter the transfer portal, every single program in the country is calling him, because you just saw how talented he was and how he took a 3-9 Sun Devils football team and took him to a college football playoff game. Everyone is calling him. Everyone. Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas. All your blue blood programs will be calling a guy who just turned around a program that was in the crapper. But that doesn't mean that he's going to have the interest in going out there. Look, first of all, he loves Arizona State. And there was a lot of people that made fun of me when I said that about Kenny Dillingham. Oh, it's his dream job. I mean, we hear that all the time. Yeah. Okay. Kenny's not gone anywhere, and he's not going anywhere. Sam Leavitt loves Arizona State. We're getting the same response. Oh, that's talk. All the players say that. And it's like, I have talked with Sam personally, and I have seen him at practice. I've seen him interacting with the coaches and his teammates and everything. He loves it here. He is completely bought into the culture. This is where he wants to start and finish his collegiate career. And honestly, I think this is the last season anyways, because if he goes out and does what he does, it's a first-round draft pick. But yeah, I don't buy that a guy that is so bought into a program would be so easily and literally bought out of the program.
Bought out. That term, I'm glad you used that. Seems to be where we're going with high-end athletes in college football. Is there a future where the SEC or the Big Ten acts as a AAA? Well, let's take it in MLB terms. AAA, where the Big 12 or ACC is designated as AA. And if you want to make more money, $1 million more, $2 million more, go to the haves rather than the have-nots. And we started to see players bought out of their college football eligibility, whether it be at Arizona State or Baylor or TCU or UCF.
It's really sad that I would even say that could be a possibility. Like, the purity of college football simply is not there anymore. We are in a completely different age from where we were 2 years ago, let alone 10 years, 15, 20 years ago. But that's just the direction that the sport is heading right now, where it does feel like it's semi-pros. And you do have the SEC and the Big Ten that are just so much further ahead than the Big 12 and the ACC and any of the best G5 programs and sure. all of that. So if you do get that offer and it's like, hey, this is Alabama calling, and we've seen what you've been doing at Wake Forest, and we are very interested in bringing you into our program, and who knows, maybe we have buyouts at that point in time. Like, it wouldn't be a surprise to see us get to that point, and it would be even less of a surprise to see those high-end programs in those high-end conferences be able to outbid the smaller teams, smaller programs that have less NIL money, and that's about as depressing a thought as it gets.
Well, I fear that that's where we're going in college football. Yeah.
Love it.
Whoever has the most money gets to win. Ohio State bought a football team and won a national championship last season, and that may be the future for and honestly, this is such a wild aside. I still don't love Ryan Day. Like that it's the way the Eagles fans treat Nick Sirianni. They hate him, right. And he won a Super Bowl, and they're still going to hate him. It's the way that Mike Budenholzer wins a championship for the Raptors, and they hate him and they fire him, right? Because there's so much money involved. You want a warm body to let the players just kind of do their own thing. That's a complete aside and a total. It's the way that we're going. Coaches are starting to matter less than money, and that is college football. Coming up, Arizona State or BYU. Who would you rather be? Locked On Big 12. Locked On Sun Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, today's show is brought to you by Upwork. And Upwork is something that has completely changed the way that I operate. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can specialize freelancers in marketing and more. And marketing is such a very important thing right now, considering that what you're watching this on is probably because of marketing, development, design, and those experts are ready for you. Flexibility connects you with top freelance talent across all industries. IT, AI, web development, marketing. Upwork makes hiring simple. Find the right talent, the right freelance expert. It's free. It's simple. Within a day, multiple qualified candidates will be right there for you to choose from. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps you find affordable, top-tier freelancers. Upwork.com right now helps you post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com. to connect with top talent and grow your business daily with Upwork. Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils. Arizona State and BYU have created this awesome, up-and-coming, upstart rivalry. And a question you and I kicked around off the air via textual message was, who would you rather be next season? Sam Leavitt led Arizona State or Jake Retzlaff led BYU? Which of these programs is in a better spot to succeed in 2025, coming off of a very, very good, overachieving 2024?
We'll go ahead and get this out of the way because I am obviously incredibly biased. And I will tell you that Arizona State is the program that I would like to be at this point in time. And I think that they are set up for future success and not just 2025 success. They just got a lot going on right now. And you look at the pool of talent that's on this team, and you've got NFL players that are on both sides of the football. Sam Leavitt, I just said, could be a first-round pick. Jordan Tyson could also be a first-round pick. He was one of the best receivers, in college football last year that no one talked about. He led the NCAA in receiving yards from week 8 to the end of the regular season. No one talked about it. They've got guys on the defensive side of the football that are really good. They've got their offensive coordinator, Marcus Arroyo, is already being talked about as a high-end head coaching candidate next year for college football for whatever positions may or may not be open. So ASU is in a great spot right now. But I do want to make sure that I play both sides of the coin here, play a little Sun Devil advocate, if you will, and acknowledge that BYU is in a really good spot because Kalani Sitake has done a phenomenal job building up a program that's been fine, bowl eligible more often than not. And they look like they're going to be one of the teams in the Big 12. Both ASU and BYU overachieved last year. ASU picked dead last in the Big 12. BYU outside the top 10, I'm pretty sure, from that media poll. And they finished top 3, top 4 in the conference. So they're setting themselves up for major success. And I love the NIL that's behind BYU too.
Why, if we just in a vacuum, Arizona State guy likes Arizona State, likes the Big 12, right? We've already gone through this. Utah does not seem to be as on par or on board with the Big 12. Arizona State is, and Arizona State fans have been great to the conference. Why then do you feel? How then do you feel? Not an obligation, but an inkling to root for BYU, to root for UCF even, to root for Baylor, right? Is there something about the conference affiliation coming from the Pac-12, now defunct, that makes you want BYU to succeed in NIL or on the football field when not playing Arizona State?
I don't know if I'd say I want them to succeed. I think we're getting right back to that heated rivalry that my grandparents enjoyed. But what I will tell you is one of the things that Pac-12 fans loved was hashtag back the pack, because a lot of people described the Pac-12 as sandlot football. And there was a lot of disrespect to the conference. And, outside of USC, who's really standing out? And Stanford had a really good run, and Oregon has been a great program for the better part of 15 years now, at least. So there have been good programs out of the Pac-12, but on an annual basis, it just there wasn't a ton of respect that was handed out, especially for the lower teams like Arizona State when they were on a really good run, or Utah at the time had won consecutive championships. Washington State had some great years. No one really talked about it. So we have that mentality as Arizona State fans of being disrespected, not just our program, but our conference, because ASU does really good in the Pac-12. Who cares? It's Pac-12.
Sure. We
get to the Big 12. We're all excited. We're like, finally, we're in a conference that gets respected. No, turns out that it's the exact same thing. Yeah. So it's not the same mentality as back the pack for now. But if we're talking 5 years down the road, we're getting to this point where people are still disrespecting BYU and Texas Tech and Baylor and TCU and Houston and Colorado and these programs that are up and coming. If they still continue to get the disrespect, then you're going to see a lot of Arizona State fans, especially the the older generation that grew up back the pack turn into, hey, you're not Arizona. We are going to stand up and support you when we don't play you and in bowl season. So for BYU, if we get to that point, because we are creating a great rivalry with them, but you may see like the national perspective, BYU, Sandlot football, they're not that great. They're playing nobody. And then ASU fans will be like, do you not see the 3, 4, 5 ranked teams in the Big 12 right now? Do you not see all the success they're having, the NIL, the recruiting and everything? So you will start to build ASU fans that are used to backing up other teams in their conference that they may not even like. So if we get to that point, this fan base is already used to doing that. They will find a way to do that again.
Arizona State considers themselves a top-end contender in the Big 12. BYU does as well. Texas Tech does. I think Colorado still sees themselves up there. Vegas has Utah at the same odds as anybody else to win the conference, and Iowa State and Kansas State are there as well. What sets Arizona State apart, not just from BYU, but the field in football in 2025?
It's the continuity. It's the continuity that's not just on the roster, but the coaching staff. Everyone's back. Offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo is back. Defensive coordinator Brian Ward is back. Your positional coaches are back. You're returning your starting quarterback, who was freshman All-American, or not All-American, freshman, whatever the award is for the country.
Freshman, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Great freshman. There you go. Jordan Tyson was all-conference for Big 12 at receiver. Cam Scadaboo's gone, yeah, and that's a huge blow. But they bring in Kanye Udo, who ran for 1,100 yards at Army. Kyson Brown is back. If you listen to Locked on Sun Devils, you know how much I love him. 4 or 5 starters are back on the offensive line. Your entire tight end room returns with even better players. The defense, I don't know that they lost any starters. They lost some big rotational guys like Shamari Simmons, but the roster is back. The coaching staff is back. The fans are at an all-time high for hype and everything. And the other thing to remember, Drake, they went undefeated at home last year.
Yeah.
That is very quietly turning into a great home field advantage. And Sun Devil Stadium, now Mountain America Stadium, has had the potential, but you're going to go into this season with one of the best home field advantages in the Big 12. So there's just a lot of stuff that's returning from last year that's also building momentum at the same time.
No doubt. Coming up, which school's NIL is set up for the most success long-term? This is a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Sun Devils crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is where I go to make a little bit of money. The NBA playoffs are here, and I really do. I think the Lakers have a pretty good shot to win long-term. I don't love that I think that. I'm not happy to be rooting for the Lakers, but I'm happy to win money. And every $5 bet that hits for new customers gets you $250 in bonus bets. Right. So I love how FanDuel makes betting easy. With the app, especially, get my money instantly. 3-pointers, steals, assists. They have so many ways to bet on your favorite player props, too. And live same-game prop bets to turn into same-game parlays give you the chance to win big. Do you want to root for the Lakers? Probably not. I don't know if I do, but I like money. And if you like money, FanDuel.com. Claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Don't miss out. FanDuel.com is the place to go. $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits at FanDuel. Reggie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils. Texas Tech. BYU. We've given a whole lot of attention to Deion Sanders and Colorado in the NIL game. But who's number 4? Who's number 1? Who's number 3? Is Arizona State on par with the rest of this conference in NIL? And from your perspective, what schools seem to be dominating the money train, the money aspect of college football that has turned players into employees?
First part of your question, no, they are not. And quite frankly, it's not even close. But you can get to that point.
Time out. You're telling me the school that won the Big 12 championship this season in football is behind the punch compared to the rest of the league in NIL, but they won the championship in football.
Yep. ASU was so far behind the 8 ball when it came to creating their NIL collective. It came 3 years ago, where some teams were ahead of it around the time of COVID and stuff like that. So ASU has put themselves so far behind everybody else that by the time that they had figured it out, I mean, there was maybe 3 other programs that were struggling. One of them was Stanford, which is a private university, and that's pretty difficult with their academic standards to also find guys to go to that program. So ASU was really far behind. Now, one of the things that we have heard many, many a times, ASU is a sleeping giant. It's old, it's tired. It's true, though. And one of the factors that really goes into the sleeping giant has nothing to do with the athletic programs, not baseball, football, basketball, volleyball, nothing. It's everything to do with the fact that you are in one of the biggest cities in the country. You have a phenomenal amount of former players and alumni that have a lot of money to be able to chip in to that NIL, but it's not easy to get people bought in for the desert. Ask the Arizona Cardinals, ask the Phoenix Suns. It's very difficult to get people to go to your games and get in the stands and buy your merchandise and support your team when they're not good. And ASU hasn't been good for a while. So you're getting people back. You're having to earn these fans back. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You can say that you need more diehards, stuff like that. There are a lot of diehards, don't get me wrong. But your big boosters and stuff like that, why am I going to put 7 figures into this program when they're just going to be barely bowl eligible and stuff like that? But you are coming off a Big 12 championship and a college football playoff appearance where you were right there neck and neck with what's considered one of the bigger blue bloods in college football. That gets people's attention. So now it's a matter of building off of that. And if they are able to build off of that, then you're going to go from bottom half of the Big 12. And I really would put them bottom half of the Big 12 right now when it comes to NIL. You're going to shoot up into that top 4 that you're talking about. And it might get higher and higher and higher because of the high profiles that you have out here. There's a lot of rich people out in the Valley that are ASU alumni that are willing to go all in on the program. It's just a matter of proving you're consistent enough. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
If I grew up in Canyon, Texas, just outside of Lubbock, there's not a lot going on in Canyon, Texas. There's not a lot going on in Lubbock, Texas. If I grew up in Provo, Utah, you're just far enough. When I grew up from Valonia, Arkansas, we were 20 minutes from Conway, which was the next city. Valonia had nothing. And so to go to Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Sonic, whatever, you had to go 20 minutes away. We're going to go to the big city. We're going to pile up in the car and go 20 minutes away. So for most Americans, it feels as though driving even 15 minutes to a different city to go to an attraction is a bit of a haul. You got kids, you're gonna pile them up. That's how it felt for us, right? Where I'm going with this, in Provo, going to Salt Lake, nah, probably not going to. You're going to stay in Provo. In Lubbock, going to Dallas, go. Oh my gosh, going to Houston, going to San Antonio, it's impossible. It's across the state. From Waco to Dallas, from Waco to Austin, you're not bringing your kids, bringing your family. And thus, you create this love for athletics locally. I love that 10 minutes away, I can root for Texas Tech. I can go in my small town, see big-time football, basketball, baseball. In Phoenix, in Tempe, in Scottsdale, it's so much different. Are there challenges that we're not considering, that nationally we're not considering with being in a large market?
Massive. Massively overlooked is everything that the Valley offers, because it's huge. We have West Valley, we have East Valley, and there's a ton of stuff. There are a countless amount of fashion centers and malls for you to go to. There's a countless amount of golf courses that people from all across the country will fly out to. Sorry for smacking my microphone there. To come out and enjoy golfing, the Waste Management Open is out here. Drake Toll was out here for that. That's an event. There's a 2-hour drive to Flagstaff to go into the snow. It's a few hour drive to go to Rocky Point down in Mexico and enjoy your spring break. It's a few hour drive to go to Los Angeles and enjoy the beach. It's a 4-hour drive to Las Vegas.
Say Sedona. Say Sedona.
I love Sedona. Sedona is beautiful.
Yeah, say Sedona. It's great. Yeah.
It is. It's beautiful.
I just want to make sure we added Sedona in there because it's one of my favorite towns in all of America.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But
not close, not convenient to get to.
Right. But you know what? It's a few hour drive for you compared to, like you said, it's a few hour drive just to a big city. I'll put it this way. You're talking about going to like a Chick-fil-A or anything like that, and it's a hike. Where I live, and people in Arizona in the valley know, Bell Road, sometimes referred to as Hell Road because of all the traffic it gets, it is about a 15-minute drive from where I live. Spencer, if it's not on Bell Road, you don't need it. All your department stores, all your restaurants, all of your electronic places, your clothing outlets, sit-down restaurants, fast food, casual dining, everything is 15 minutes away from me. If it's not there, I don't need it. That's very different for people that are in those smaller towns. And that matters because there is so much to do in Phoenix compared to those smaller towns and cities in those areas where BYU football is all that people have. Like that matters for them. That's everything. Arizona sports aren't good. Okay, I'm going to go golfing this weekend. That's what you're competing against is better options to do than, quote, waste your money, as some people would consider it.
Yeah, and that's, Houston, they're going to watch the Astros.
Right.
They're going to a Rockets game. They'll watch the Texans play. That's your first love, especially if you are, and by and large, Texas Tech grad who moved to Houston post-grad, or Texas Tech grad who moved to Phoenix post-grad. They're not going to Arizona or Arizona State games. And that puts you at a disadvantage. We consider market. Boston College must be a great addition to any conference because of market. No, because there are so many. The Boston Symphony Orchestra is bigger than Boston College. More people are consistently going to that, touring to go to that, than they are Boston College. And that's where large city, smaller schools are sucked up into this never-ending vacuum of, hey, you're at a big market, you should succeed. And you can't because there are the Dallas Cowboys, the Phoenix Suns, or whoever. And that is not something the Auburn Tigers or Alabama Crimson Tide in Tuscaloosa or Ohio State Buckeyes in Columbus have to compete with. Richie Bradshaw, spectacular stuff. As always, you've nailed it once again. Where can folks find more of your work?
You can always find me on Twitter at Richie Brads with a Z 36. If you want to debate sports or anything like that, always happy to have those conversations. LO_Sun Devils is for the podcast. We're free and available on all platforms. And YouTube, having a good time, trying to get to 2,000 before the season starts. So we got a few months to get there. We're over 1,700 right now. Help a brother out.
No doubt. Love it. That's Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils talking all things Arizona State. Squad shows tonight, by the way. If you're watching this Thursday, the squad show is tonight, 5 or 6 Eastern. I should know that 8 months into squad showing, but it will be one of those times. It always will be Locked On, a crossover between the Sun Devils. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. And Dose Grande.